What are the best things you can do when you're hosting an event and a whole bunch of people are there? How can you speak to them? What are the best strategies when you are hosting a podcast and one of your listeners connects with you? What are the best strategies if you're at a conference in your industry and you're wanting to network and someone comes up to you or you go up to them? What can you do to get that know, like, trust factor the quickest? So here's a few ideas of absolute best practices that I know work for everybody. Number one is think about it. If you're a normal human being, you were born with 2 ears and 1 mouth. 2 ears, 1 mouth is a phenomenal analogy for you to be thinking of as you connect with other people. You want to use those 2 ears, 1 mouth as like, I should listen more and shut the F up. Are you getting my drift? I should hear what that other person is looking for. I should ask more questions, etc. So how do you do that? If you've got 2 ears, 1 mouth and you want to use them accordingly, how do you do that? Number one, I want you to have a genuine interest in that person. You're speaking with a group of people or one person, you're networking. I want you to slow the F down and ask more questions. Show a genuine interest in that person. Your questions shouldn't all be meant to just reply back and say a whole bunch of things of you. This isn't going to be the best way to make this work. The best way to make this work is to get to know somebody and to slow down the conversation. With follow-up questions being the second idea to help you with your 2 ears, 1 mouth. You hear somebody say something, you can ask follow-up questions. One tip is to use like the last word or the last 3 words that they said. I believe I was in a mastermind that I'm not in anymore. I'm in a couple other masterminds, but in this one, I'm not. But the cool thing at that mastermind was this guy named Chris Voss came. Chris Voss he's got a book. And he might have more than one book, but at the time he had a book called Never Split the Difference. And as he was presenting at our conference or at our mastermind event, the person who leads the group, he said to Chris Voss, he said, "Hey, I want to learn more about how you use the last 3 words. I think it's genius. And I think my group would love to hear more about how you use the last 3 words." And you know what Chris Voss said? He goes, "Last 3 words?" And he just paused. And what that ended up doing is the mastermind leader was like, "Well, yeah, like the last 3 words." And he goes into a lot more detail. And Chris did it again to him. What happens is when you use the last word or the last couple of words that somebody says, and echo it back to that person, it's a way of follow-up question. It's a way to help them to go a little bit deeper. Just an idea, something you can use. I don't want you to use the last 3 words every single time. That's not even the goal here. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm letting you know that if you have a genuine interest, you can have 2 ears, 1 mouth. If you ask follow-up questions, you can get to that 2 ears, 1 mouth. And if you use the last 3 words to echo it back to that person, it allows them to keep talking so that you can keep listening. There's been many times that I've been at a conference where people are like, "Man, you're really cool. I really like talking to you." And I thought that was interesting because they did most of the talking. Let that sink into you as well. They would say, "You're pretty cool. You're a great guy. You're a great listener. Oh, I love talking to you. You're very interesting," they would say. But I didn't really get much out. I spent the time letting them talk. And the point of it is that as you let that person talk, they can feel drawn to you, connected to you, and they can get that trust.